This is Land of Fabula, Jeremiah 42. There aren't many left. The government has been wiped out. Jeremiah's still there. There are a few veterans who managed to avoid capture during the war. Their leaders are called the captains of the forces. Then there are the very poor that the Babylonians left on purpose to work the fields and vineyards. There are a few of the household of the former king, mostly women, children, and eunuchs. Then there are some who fled the country during the war, but came back. Now that the government has been murdered, the remnant of them are afraid for their lives. They figure the Babylonians will return and take revenge. Therefore, they'll probably go to Egypt, but they'll check with Jeremiah first. Verse 1. Then all the captains of the forces, and Johanan the son of Kareah, and Jezaniah the son of Hoshea, and all the people from the least even to the greatest, came near and said to Jeremiah the prophet, Please let our supplication be presented before you, and pray for us to Yahweh your God, even for all this remnant. For we are left but a few of many, as your eyes see us, that Yahweh your God may show us the way in which we should walk, and the things that we should do. Comment in verses 1 to 3, everyone from the least to the greatest came to Jeremiah, wanting to know what they should do. They wanted him to pray and give them a word from Yahweh. Verse 4. Then Jeremiah the prophet said to them, I have heard you. Behold, I'll pray to Yahweh your God according to your words, and it will happen that whatever thing Yahweh answers you, I'll declare it to you. I'll keep nothing back from you. Then they said to Jeremiah, May Yahweh be a true and faithful witness among us if we don't do according to all the word with which Yahweh your God sends you to tell us. Whether it is good or whether it is bad, we'll obey the voice of Yahweh our God, to whom we send you, that it may be well with us when we obey the voice of Yahweh our God. Comment in verse 4, Jeremiah said, I'll pray to Yahweh as you ask, and when he answers me, I'll give it to you straight. They said, May Yahweh be a true and faithful witness among us if we don't do what he tells you. In other words, may Yahweh judge us if we don't obey him. In verse 6, they say to the effect, we'll obey Yahweh's counsel no matter what we think of it, so that things will go well for us. Coming up in verses 7 to 18, Yahweh answered. It's very easy to follow. Verse 7. After 10 days, Yahweh's word came to Jeremiah. Then he called Johanan the son of Kareah, and all the captains of the forces who were with him, and all the people from the least even to the greatest, and said to them, Yahweh the God of Israel, to whom you sent me to present your supplication before him, says, If you'll still live in this land, then I'll build you and not pull you down. I'll plant you and not pluck you up, for I grieve over the distress I have brought on you. Don't be afraid of the king of Babylon, of whom you're afraid. Don't be afraid of him, says Yahweh, for I'm with you to save you and to deliver you from his hand. I'll grant you mercy that he may have mercy on you and cause you to return to your own land. But if you say, We'll not dwell in this land, so that you don't obey Yahweh your God's voice, saying, No, but we'll go into the land of Egypt, where we'll see no war, nor hear the sound of the trumpet, nor have hunger of bread, and there we'll dwell. Now therefore hear Yahweh's word, O remnant of Judah. Yahweh of armies, the God of Israel, says, If you indeed set your faces to enter into Egypt, and go to live there, then it will happen that the sword which you fear will overtake you there in the land of Egypt, and the famine about which you are afraid will follow close behind you there in Egypt, and you'll die there. So it will be with all the men who set their faces to go into Egypt to live there. They'll die by the sword, by the famine, and by the pestilence. None of them will remain or escape from the evil that I will bring on them. For Yahweh of armies, the God of Israel, says, As my anger and my wrath has been poured out on the inhabitants of Jerusalem, so my wrath will be poured out on you when you enter into Egypt, and you'll be an object of horror, an astonishment, a curse, and a reproach, and you'll see this place no more. Comment in verse 7, Yahweh didn't answer for 10 days. If he had answered immediately, his word would have still been his word, but since he delayed for 10 days, there can be no speculation that Jeremiah answered rashly or that Yahweh wasn't serious. In verses 8 to 10, Jeremiah called all the people together. In verses 10 to 18, the answer was, If you stay in the land, I'll prosper you, because I grieve over the distress I brought on you. Don't be afraid of the king of Babylon. I'll save you from him. I'll grant you mercy and cause him to grant you mercy. But if you don't obey me, saying to yourselves, we won't stay, we'll go to Egypt to avoid war and famine, if that's what you say, I'll send sword and famine on you there, and you'll die. You'll never return here. All the things you fear of what will happen to you here will happen to you there. None of you who go to Egypt will escape the evil I send you. Just as I poured out my wrath on Jerusalem, so I'll pour out my wrath on you in Egypt. Everyone who hears about it will be astonished and horrified. When they want to curse someone, they'll say, may you be as those Jews who went to Egypt. Coming up, Jeremiah knows the people spoke deceptively when they said they would obey Yahweh. Jeremiah says to them, verse 19, Yahweh has spoken concerning you, remnant of Judah, don't go into Egypt. Know certainly that I have testified to you today, for you have dealt deceitfully against your own souls, for you sent me to Yahweh your God, saying, pray for us to Yahweh our God, and according to all that Yahweh our God says, so declare it to us, and we'll do it. I've declared it to you today, but you've not obeyed Yahweh your God's voice in anything for which he has sent me to you. Now therefore know certainly that you'll die by the sword, by the famine, and by the pestilence in the place where you desire to go to live there. Comment in verse 19, Yahweh has surely spoken to you, saying, don't go into Egypt. In verse 20, you've dealt deceitfully against your own souls. In verse 21, you never obeyed Yahweh's voice in anything I told you in the past, and you won't obey his voice as I've declared it to you today. In verse 22, know therefore that certainly you'll die by the sword, famine, and pestilence, according to your desire to live in Egypt. We would think that Jeremiah has proven himself as a true prophet to this generation, and that Yahweh's word would strike home to them by now, but apparently not. Jeremiah 43 is next.